Sanju Verma today, okay, I have Sanju Verma back. I think she can hear me now. Sanju Verma, today you're being charged by the TMC and the opposition for legitimizing majoritarianism in a country which is supposed to be steeped in secularism and democracy.
Okay. Preeti, yes, there was a problem with my audio. I've come in slightly late into the debate. But from whatever I could gather, I have this to say. India is 80% Hindu population. And imagine, despite that, despite the fact that Muslims are not a minority, Muslims are actually the second largest majority, constituting 14.5% of the population. More than 31% of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana is allocated to minorities, especially Muslims. More than 33% of Pradhan Mantri Ayushman Bharat Yojana is allocated to minorities, particularly Muslims. More than 36% of Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojana is dedicated to minorities, especially Muslims. More than 37% of Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana is dedicated to minorities, particularly Muslims. So the statistics show that, as far as the welfare politics of Narendra Modi government goes, he has never discriminated based on religion, caste, creed, what have you. That is my point number one. My point number two is this. On the one hand, the opposition says BJP is pursuing a majoritarian agenda. And on the other hand, they say that why is BJP trying to appropriate credit for the Bhagya Ram Nandana consecration ceremony on the 22nd of January, which means that the opposition is confused. इसे कहते हैं शादी का लड्डू वाला syndrome. If they give credit to BJP for the Ram Mandir, they are doomed. If they don't give credit to BJP for the Ram Mandir, then also they are doomed because they will be considered as anti-Hindu. My point number three, for those who say that the BJP is conveniently trying to take credit, let me educate them. पढ़ लिख कर आया करिए debate पर. BJP brought the Ram Mandir issue onto the center stage of the Indian political landscape by way of the Palampur resolution way back in 1989. 34 years hence, while it is true that the historic Ram Janmabhoomi Mandir is coming into play thanks to that historic judgment on the 9th of November 2019 by the Supreme Court. But I have this to ask the opposition. Governments came, governments went. Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister, Deve Gowda was the Prime Minister, Chandrasekhar was the Prime Minister, I.K. Gujral was the Prime Minister, Rajiv Gandhi was the Prime Minister, Pandit Nehru was the Prime Minister, Indira Gandhi was the Prime Minister. ये क्या coincidence है क्या? That only under the aegis of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the Bhagya Ram Mandir is coming up. So this has clearly rattled the anti-Hindu, lobby. And the more important thing is this. You tell me one thing, Preeti. This is the same Prime Minister who visited the Grand Istiklal Mosque in Indonesia in 2018. This is the same Prime Minister who was the first Prime Minister in post-independent India to visit a Muslim country like Bahrain in 2019. This is the same Prime Minister who not only visited Israel in 2017, but visited Ramallah, a Muslim-centric place in 2018. This is the same Prime Minister who also was awarded the Grand Order of the Nile by the Muslim nation of Egypt as recently as June 2023. And this is the same Prime Minister who very unapologetically goes to Ajmer. वहां जाकर ये दरगाह पर चादर चढ़ाते हैं. He goes and very unapologetically visits the Pope at the Vatican, which he did in October 2021. And this is the same Prime Minister who also very unapologetically wears his Hindutva credentials on his sleeves. तो गलत क्या है? मुझे बताओ. आपकी ममता बनर्जी रोड पर बैठकर नमाज पढ़ती है, तब सब चंगासी. आपकी ममता बनर्जी says Jai Shri Ram is a war cry, तब सब चंगासी. आपकी ममता बनर्जी, banned Ram Navami and changed the name into Ram Navami in Bengal textbooks, तब सब चंगासी. Your Mamata Banerjee banned Hanuman Jayanti, तब सब चंगासी. Your Mamata Banerjee said Durga Puja celebrations will not happen if they clash with Muharram celebrations. Don't sit here and lecture the BJP.
All right, okay. But Sanju Verma, Sanju Verma, the Prime Minister does all of that and you're bang on, but when it comes down to ticket distribution, the BJP, you don't have a single Muslim face where your cabinet is concerned. The last 5 elections, not even a single Muslim candidate. So even if it, we can come down, we can break it down in that format. So away from all of that, and I'll come back to you. I just want to bring in Sriraj Nair, spokesperson VHP, into this conversation. Mr. Nair, Ms. Verma has a plausible point where she's saying that, it's sabka saath, sabka vikas. The Awas will go to everyone. That the Prime Minister's scheme do not, look at what religion that person is from, whoever it's benefiting. So there's a fair point in that. But even when you come down to Sriraj Nair, in terms of invitations, invitations have gone to an Alia Bhatt, to an Amitabh Bachchan, to an Akshay Kumar, to Ranveer Singh, not one of the Khans. So there's no representation even in that aspect. That is something which is being pointed out, that maybe this is just a majoritarian festival of sorts.
Nothing like that. See, now as Sanju Verma ji rightly said, Ram Mandir was a part of the parliament, their resolution, and it was there in the successive manifesto. And Madam Mamata Banerjee was a part of the Atal Bihari Vajpayee government. That time she had no issues. Now the problem is, as the date is nearing, all these so-called allies of the dotted parties are tensed. They know that in the forthcoming 2024 elections, because of their repeated anti-Hindu stance and repeatedly appeasing the minority Muslims, or the so-called second largest majority Muslims, and abusing Hindus, mocking Hindus, ridicule Hindus, now they are going to be wiped out. So this is a big area of worry. Now the only thing left is to abuse the Prime Minister, or bring some issues with regards to the temple inauguration or the Pran Pratishtha, but nothing is going to work. They are going to be more tense. Post 22nd, we are going to have Lok Sabha election somewhere in April or May. Now the dates are going to be near, and they are going to be wiped out electorally. So nothing is going to work.
But
These
Sriraj
people
Nair,
are absolutely opportunist people.
I have a following
Mamata
question.
Banerjee, madam,
You
no
yourself
problem
say this is
bringing the
nothing to do
government-
with, sir, Mr. Nair, you say
Yes.
this is nothing to do with politics. This is about devotion, this is about faith. In the same sequence of
very
events,
clear
you've
that it has
equated
to do
two
with
things together.
politics.
You have equated the inauguration of the Ram Mandir on the 22nd, and in 3 months or 2 months elections, and the opposition will be wiped out. How can you then say one and not stand with the other?
Please come back. Please come back.
He can't hear it now.
Mr.
He
Nair,
can't hear
okay.
this question.
You know, the question is, you have equated, you yourself say devotion, faith has nothing to do with politics. In your statement, you've equated both of them, saying 22nd is Ram Mandir opening, 2 months after this, the entire opposition is wiped out. What's the connection, sir? If there is one, then admit it.
Yes, the connection is, these people, this dotted alliance partners of the so-called secular brigade, they roped in the best of the lawyers so that they could ensure that Ram Mandir should never come in existence. They tried their level best to appease Muslims, that
So
the Ram Mandir, they roped in the
you
best
admit
and best
this
of
is
lawyers,
political
but
as well.
again the Supreme Court gave
So
the
this is
order
political
in
then.
favor of
Okay,
Ram
closing
Mandir,
comments. I'm
and now
sorry,
they
I'm
are
running
not
out
able
of
to
time.
digest.
We've got some of you much
So that
later.
is the reason
But I'm going to give
this
1 minute
Ram
to Manojit
Mandir
Mandal,
are
1
going
minute
to be
to
wiped out.
Sanju Verma.
Hindus have awakened. Hindus
But
have
sir,
polarized.
you have agreed this is political, and that's it. That's fine. As long as there is agreement to that. This is as much to do with religion as it is to do with faith, as it is to do with politics, is what you're saying.
Of this country have awakened.
Okay, sir, got it.
How
No
long
arguments.
will you make them
Manojit
second-class
Mandal,
citizens
30 seconds, and then I'm going to cut across to Sanju Verma for the same amount of time. Closing comments.
Please ask him to
Go
be
ahead,
tolerant.
Manojit Mandal.
A real Hindu must be tolerant. You learn Hinduism from Ramakrishna Paramahansadev and Swami Vivekananda. When he says that I'm proud to belong to a country that shelters people of all religion and on faith. Incidentally, Narendra Modi, the name Naren comes from the original name of Swami Vivekananda. He was also called Narendra, Swami Vivekananda. And Prime Minister knows this. Follow Swami Vivekananda in the real sense of the term.
All right,
Not
30 seconds right now to... Okay,
one
1 second. 30 seconds. Sanju Verma, please conclude.
Thank you. Preeti, I just have this to say to the opposition. जब हमने कहा था राम मंदिर वही बनाएंगे, you said तारीख तो बताओ. अब हमने तारीख भी बता दी. The consecration ceremony is just a few days away. आपके पेट में उबाल आ रहा है, अच्छी बात है. But don't forget the historic 1995 judgment by the Supreme Court, where the Supreme Court also said that Hinduism is a way of life. So I, as a practicing Hindu, saying I'm very proud of the Ram Mandir consecration ceremony, which will be presided over by none other than the leader of the largest democracy in the world, that is Prime Minister Narendra Modi.
But no, this is a Supreme Court decision. No, Sanju Verma, this is a Supreme Court decision. Okay, all right.
Mamata Banerjee has problems too bad.
Okay, Mamata Banerjee has problems too bad. That is what the BJP is saying. With that, we're going to end the debate. I appreciate all our panelists for joining us.